All right, let's start something too. Red Wings free agency discussions. I'm glad we have BMG here. We're going to tap into BMG in a minute. But again, I told you guys I semi-unplugged. I kept up with what was going on, and I got the alerts on the signings and everything like that. So help me with this, because I keep seeing this about disappointment in Steve Yzerman, and why does Yzerman get 15 years to rebuild the team and all that kind of stuff. So here's the question. Elgato, Hall, terrible signing. I'm not going to pick apart one by one. BMG, I'm going to run my thought process by you. You confirm, deny. Then I have an overriding point I'm going to get to.
Okay.
My overriding thought on the class. Decent depth, right? A guy that kind of popped off last year. Maybe a 20-goal season guy. There were no premium, and I'm kind of getting to the second point. There were no premium 1Cs out there to get or anything like that. I thought all in all, from a depth perspective, I think the team is better today than they were 5 days ago. Am I crazy or no?
No, not at all. And when some of the deals were going down, I felt a type of way about some of them. Then as it kind of settled in and I slept on it, I realized, just like what you said, these are depth pieces, and a lot of these players are bridges to our up-and-coming players. So, and they still got a good haul, I would say. And they might not be done yet. They still have a lot of draft capital to move, and they could possibly still make a trade. So,
and that is all out there. And so, WoodwardSports.com chat thread, J. Cruz in 71. Still no superpowers. Here's Johnny, depth and development. Kat says, Steve Yzerman's on a 30-year plan. He plans to have the team competitive by 2050. But here, Lindsay, here's the deal, man.
Oh,
did I miss? And there's another question for BMG, and then we'll bring Lindsay in the fold. Did I miss the 50-goal-a-year guy that got signed? Did I miss that? Did another team sign a 40, 50-goal-a-year guy? Did I miss that?
No.
I was a little unplugged. I didn't miss that.
No.
Okay.
There was nothing to...
Did I miss the 40, 50-goal-a-year guy that got traded to another team? Did I miss that?
No. You didn't miss Tyler Bertuzzi, though. Our boy Bert.
I did see that.
Yeah. Went to Toronto.
Went to Toronto.
Poor guy.
Anyway, it's a good fit.
It is.
People, more than he is. Just like he's on a team that more than they think it is. But anyway, I digress. So I didn't miss that at all. So when people say still no big-time goal scorer, still no... Who did it? Who did do that then? Nobody?
Yeah.
Is nobody the answer?
And a lot of those big goal scorers are still under contract. So if other teams are going to do it, they're going to have to make a trade too. So, obviously, I had thought the DeBrincat trade was going to boil down on draft night. But just because it didn't then doesn't mean it won't now. And it doesn't mean that there's not another trade that could possibly happen. So,
which is fair. Okay, did I miss Winnipeg dissembling it all? And Kyle Connors, and where did he get traded to?
Nowhere yet. Hopefully the Red Wings.
Alex DeBrincat.
Nowhere.
And now we have some intel on how those discussions went with Ottawa, right?
Yes. They
were dead set on getting pick number 9.
Yep, they wanted number 9, and who knows? Now that could boil down to them moving, because they got nothing, obviously. So now they might move on to next year's draft capital for the Red Wings. So,
and that's what it is, because the price comes down.
Yep.
Alex DeBrincat, when a man comes out publicly and says, I am not re-signing with you, and the GM comes out publicly and says, yeah, we have to move him, every day you have him after that, the value continues to drop.
Absolutely.
Nobody else has traded for him. So I don't get everybody's outrage here. I don't get it.
Maybe they just like me, or just like most people, they wanted that home run, but that home run still could happen. So maybe they're just
I'm not even looking at it as it still could happen. Nobody else has done it either.
Yeah, no. You could even say that there really wasn't too many home runs to even go for in this free agency or even this trade period. So
Kevin Bell says, so Wings went defense. And last one, I'll get Lindsay in the fold here in a second. Last one. Offensive defensemen seemed to be a thing. It was a thing in the draft. They got the best offensive defenseman in the draft. They went out, they signed a very good offensive defenseman as well. I think I see what he's doing here. And he is looking to improve the power play. Offensive-minded defensemen, typically when do those guys play? On the power play. It is something that looks like it's a priority to him.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
No, absolutely. And you've seen he went defense heavy in that second round, so 100%. Even if it's offensive defenseman or just defenseman in general, you can definitely tell he's keying in on that. And defensive prospects, people may have wondered why he went heavy. Those guys tend to have more value in trade packages down the line, so that could be a way he's angling it. So I don't know, but he definitely is valuing defense for sure.
And Lindsay, look, man, like when you're a non-playoff team, and this holds true in any other sport, be it MLB, NBA, NHL, you need, I don't want to say foundational pieces, because obviously every franchise needs foundational pieces.
Right.
Duh. You do need depth. You need real players all across the board. And hockey probably more than most, where you got to roll four lines, man. I think he is continuing to address. My biggest difference I saw last year on opening day was I looked at Kopp and I looked at what they did in free agency. Those guys contributed. Those guys played. Kubalik, I was a big fan of, all that stuff. They made an impact. They did take a step. I think, Lindsay, have we gotten ahead of ourselves a little bit? They showed progress from the year before to last year. Do you feel as though people are kind of jumping off this Yzerman bandwagon here?
Well, the problem with fans and when everybody's watching GMs of any sport go through a process of rebuilding, everybody wants it to happen right away. Everybody wants instant gratification. Like, we live in a microwave society, so when they don't see the splash signings or a big name free agent sign, everybody's like, what are we doing? Like, well, why didn't we do this or why didn't we do that? But it's a process regardless. I'm sure they have a plan in place, and this is the procedure. This is how we're going to go along our plan. Now, you do defer from your plan if something jumps out at you that's, you have to make a deal or it's a great deal for you. You do that, but you still have a plan in place to build your team a certain way, and I'm sure that's what's happening. But everybody's impatient. When you're not winning, it's like you don't have time to make a mistake, or in people's perception to make a mistake. Like, everybody doesn't think that, hey, that I wouldn't have did that. That's a non-impactful signing or whatever. You just don't get the time that you normally should get.
Lewis Bishop of the WoodwardSports.com chat thread says, guys, relax. Just give these GMs a decade to compete, okay?
He said a decade.
Man, oh, man, we have way too high of standards in this town. And, Lewis, here's the deal. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again today, right now, and then I'll say it in the future as well. Year 5 of it's not year 5 of the rebuild. When you walk in the door and you have Jimmy Howard making $5 million a year and Franz Nielsen making $6 million a year, there's nothing you can do. The first 2 years are a total write-off. I'm sorry, guys, they are. But this is what happened. While we went on and moved on with our lives and didn't pay attention when the Red Wings went down that dark tunnel, this is what the reality of it was. And, Lewis, I'm speaking to you in factual terms. You can go look at it and look it up yourself. There was nothing that could be done for the first 2 years he was here. Nothing that could be done. So, yeah, when you say, well, let's just give him 10 years, no one's saying give him 10 years, Lewis. No one's saying that. But this isn't year 5. When you walk in the door and Franz Nielsen's making $6 million, that is not a year. Because there's nothing you can do. Brad Holmes had to do it the first year he walked in the door. Now it's an accelerated process in the NFL because you cut a player, you take your medicine, and you move on. These are the same fans here, Lindsay, that were saying, well, Brad Holmes did nothing in free agency. And I sat here on this chair. Sam Flannel marked me on this. Sat here on this chair and said, yeah, you did. And they're like, what are you talking about? You signed Jamie Collins and Trey Flowers and gave them $18 million to go away. That was your free agency move.
Right.
The difference is that you rip that Band-Aid off and you move on. Was Brad Holmes active in free agency last year? Yes, he was. Yes. He flipped the secondary, made the biggest weakness on the team, maybe a top 3 strength. You see what I'm saying? It takes a financial minute.
Yep.
And the structure of the NFL is different than the structure of the NHL, a lot because of the draft.
Right.
Mo Sider took a couple years to get here. He's here now. And you guys are ready to throw the bag at him, right? We're all in agreement. You're gonna max out Mo Sider? BMG.
Oh, 100%.
What's Mo Sider's contract gonna be?
I would like to say maybe 8 for 8. I don't know. But that's what I'm hoping for. I don't even care what you give him. Just lock him down.
Yeah.
That's you already know, Sam. He knows that is my guy. So 8 for 8, maybe 8.5. But
yeah. And Lewis says, I love it, Neil. It's fine. Just make excuses for these guys. It's a fact. What did I tell you that's not factually true? When you have $14 million of your cap in the NHL on Jimmy Howard and Franz Nielsen and Justin Abdelkader, who you're still paying, by the way, till 2026. What's factually incorrect? Who's going to do anything with that? Who? And I'm not saying, and look, Darren McCarty said it too. He said, hey, I expect the Red Wings to be in the playoffs this year. I don't know that I'm ready to pull that lever yet, but they're better today than they were a week ago. Is that fair, BMG?
yes.
And I believe that 100%, and if they're better today than they were a week ago, then it stands to reason they're going to be in the mix.
Yeah. I still think they will. And 1 second, my camera's messing up here. But and you got to look at down the stretch of the season when those guys were playing really well, like the Rasmussen. You're getting all those guys back. Hopefully Fabry's back by the start of the year. You don't know if Kasper's going to start. So I still think they will be somewhere around there, at least fighting for it. So, yeah.
And that's kind of where I got them, too. They are better.